8 brutal Stoic rules to fixing yourself, fix your mind, fix your life, psychology tricks. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. What if the truth is this? No one is coming to rescue you, and that's exactly the gift you've been avoiding. Not a threat, a revelation, a call to finally take ownership of the life you keep postponing. The Stoics understood something men still struggle with today: your peace, your strength, and your freedom are built from the inside out. Marcus Aurelius carried the weight of an empire collapsing under war, disease, and betrayal, yet he turned inward, writing not as a ruler seeking praise, but as a man desperate for clarity and discipline. You have power over your mind, not outside events. If you grasp this, even for a moment, you'll understand why your life feels stuck. Your circumstances aren't the problem, your mindset is. Fix that, and everything else begins to shift. But mindset isn't repaired with empty cliches or soft encouragement. It requires rules, unyielding, uncomfortable principles that crush excuses and force you to evolve. In this video, you'll learn 8 brutal Stoic rules to rebuild yourself from the core. These principles come from men who endured more than most modern people could fathom: Epictetus, who forged his philosophy while enslaved; Seneca, who wrote with death looming over his shoulder; Marcus Aurelius, who led the world's greatest empire while watching everything he loved slip away. They didn't break. They became unshakable. By the end, you'll walk away with 8 timeless tools for becoming calmer, stronger, and disciplined in an age drowning in comfort, distraction, and emotional weakness. And stay with me, because Rule 1 is the most painful to accept, but once you embrace it, your old limitations crumble. Before we begin, here's your test. If you're done blaming and finally ready to build, write this in the comments: discipline over everything. Let's see who's here to change and who's just here to watch. Welcome to Stoicism Win. This is where excuses end. Let's begin. Number 8. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. Let that sink in. In the words of Epictetus, while you breathe, you still have power over yourself. Imagine that. Epictetus, a man born into slavery, whose body was owned by someone else, never allowed his mind to be shackled. In the vast, oppressive silence of ancient Rome, where slaves were invisible, voiceless, and powerless, he found his voice. And from that dark, desperate place, he forged one of the most profound truths of Stoic philosophy: no one is coming to save you. Not a mentor, not a partner, not a hero in shining armor, no one. The world does not owe you a rescue. You must save yourself. And this is not something to mourn. It's something to celebrate. It's the key to your freedom. Think about it in modern terms. You're overwhelmed, burned out, surrounded by noise, looking for a solution. Maybe you send out messages, hoping someone will answer, that someone will fix it, but the silence stretches on. No one calls. No one comes. The world keeps moving, and you're left staring at the harsh truth: it's all on you. Now, that's not a punishment. It's a revelation, a mirror. And when you see it, you'll know exactly who you are. It's in that moment of total solitude, when there are no applause, no encouragement, no backup, that you're faced with a choice. This is where the power lies. The vast majority of people, especially today, are looking for external solutions to internal chaos: therapy, support groups, inspirational quotes. But what happens when all of that fades away? When everything you're relying on falls silent? What happens when the only one left to act is you? You rise. You act. You take responsibility, not because it's easy, but because it's the only way out. This is a tough pill to swallow, but it's essential. The truth is, you must stop waiting for someone to come along and fix your life. No one can. You must take action. You must choose to rise. The Stoics understood this like few others. True freedom begins the moment you stop expecting life to rescue you. That is when you realize that you're in control of your destiny, not some external force. You have the power to choose your actions, your mindset, and your future. That's what makes you sovereign, unshakable, a man who governs his own life, not subject to the whims of fate. And let me tell you, when you accept that no one is coming to save you, you gain a profound sense of clarity. The noise fades, and you realize the only true power is within you. No external sources can change the fact that your decisions shape your reality. So, let me make this clear: no one is coming to save you. You are the only one capable of fixing yourself. That's your greatest opportunity, not your curse. You must rise, you must act, and you must do it now. This is where psychology tricks and deep psychological insights kick in. It's about understanding that your mind is your greatest tool, and when you master it, everything else falls into place. The Stoics knew that your mind is where true freedom begins. You can apply female psychology to understand relationships, how to fall in love with the process of growth and the strength within yourself. The moment you accept responsibility for your own life, you begin the journey toward becoming truly unshakable. The world is harsh, and no one will come to fix it for you. But the beauty of that is simple: you have the power to change your own life. Number 7, control the inner battlefield. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, ruled one of the greatest empires in history. He commanded legions, navigated through treachery, and faced a world on fire with political instability and war. Yet, if you were to read his personal thoughts, his private reflections, you would find that he never wrote about military conquests, strategic victories, or the powerful politics of his time. Instead, he wrote about himself. He wrote about discipline, the mind, and the soul. You must build up your life action by action, Marcus said, and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible. For him, the real war was never fought with weapons on a battlefield. The true battlefield lay within. And he understood that if you lose the war inside, every victory outside will be worthless. Now, let's apply that thinking to your own life. You wake up, and the world throws everything at you: bad news, unfinished tasks, endless demands from people who don't get it, and a weight of responsibilities you never signed up for. This is the world outside, and it has always been and always will be chaotic. You cannot change that. You can't control everything that happens to you, and that's okay. But you can control the one thing that truly matters: your mind. That is where the battle is won or lost. The real question is, how do you respond to this chaos? When life comes at you fast, when everything feels like it's spiraling out of control, do you react emotionally, letting fear, anger, or frustration dictate your choices? Or do you stand firm, grounded in your sense of self, knowing that the storms around you do not define you? That's where you need to focus, because if your mind is undisciplined and scattered, it doesn't matter how much you achieve, how many possessions you collect, or how much praise you earn. You remain a slave to your own impulses. This is especially true in today's world, where external pressures are ever more intense. People are bombarded by opinions, online criticism, and the noise of an unforgiving society. A single comment or a poorly timed business setback can throw everything into turmoil. But the Stoic doesn't let that chaos invade their mind. The difference between a high-value man and someone lost in the noise is their ability to stay in control. A high-value man understands this. External factors, online comments, business losses, betrayals, are outside of your control. What is in your control is how you react to them. The Stoic doesn't waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable. They channel their power into what they can truly govern: their thoughts, their interpretations, their actions, their posture. Think of it like this: the world outside is like a violent storm. The winds howl, the rain beats down, the waves crash relentlessly. But you? You stand like a lighthouse, steady, unshaken, immovable. It doesn't matter how fierce the storm is, you remain firm, a beacon of stability amid the chaos. That is what it means to have true masculine energy. That is survival. That is freedom. The Stoics teach that you win life not by conquering others, but by conquering yourself. You do not bend the world to your will. You bend yourself to your own principles. That's where the real power lies. This isn't just about surviving life's trials, it's about thriving in them. You don't let the chaos control you. The key to being a man of high value, to attracting women, and to mastering your life is to dominate your inner world first. Control your mind, and everything else follows. The world outside may continue to rage, but if your mind is sharp, disciplined, and focused, No storm will ever take you down. So, do you want to be a high value man? Do you want to stand tall, attract women with your strength, your presence, your unshakable confidence? It starts with this: controlling the inner battlefield. Without it, everything else will fall apart. And just remember, if you don't control the war inside, the world outside will control you. So take control now. Conquer your mind, and you will conquer your life. Number 6, comfort is the silent killer. Comfort is the silent killer that cripples the mind and weakens the soul. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in ancient Rome, possessed all the luxuries the world could offer: wealth, power, estates, and influence. Yet, he warned more vehemently than anyone about the hidden dangers of comfort. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality, he wrote. His words are a stark reminder of the human tendency to inflate our fears and anxieties. Our suffering is not rooted in the harshness of life, but in our softness toward it. Comfort lulls us into a false sense of security, and it is in this fragile state that we are most vulnerable. This is why Seneca made discomfort a regular practice. He purposefully chose to sleep on the floor instead of his lavish bed, wore rough clothing instead of fine silk, and ate simple, humble meals rather than indulgent feasts. He had everything, yet he deliberately sought to feel lack, to feel the sting of discomfort. Why? Because he understood the deep truth that comfort breeds dependence, and dependence breeds fear. If your peace of mind hinges on the comforts of a soft bed, gourmet meals, perfect weather, constant praise, or a predictable routine, you are tethered to conditions that the world cannot guarantee. And no matter how golden, a chain is still a chain. Now, take a look at the world today. Everything is tailored to pamper us: food delivered at the tap of a finger, endless entertainment at a swipe, distractions on demand. At first, this seems like progress, but it is the poison of comfort slowly seeping in. Comfort dulls us, making us fragile, and when discomfort inevitably strikes, it becomes unbearable. A mild inconvenience, hunger, physical effort, rejection, silence, feels like an assault. People crumble not because life has gotten harsher, but because they have never been hardened. They suffer more in their minds than in reality because they have never tasted discipline. Imagine someone who habitually avoids discomfort. They always choose the easier path, the softer road. They evade confrontation, shy away from solitude, and shy away from effort. When life finally throws its inevitable blows, sickness, loss, betrayal, failure, they shatter instantly. Not because the storm was too powerful, but because their foundation was fragile. They never trained their spirit to endure. They built their life like a house of glass, and when the stone was thrown, it shattered. But the Stoic chooses differently. Hardship is not a curse, it is the forge in which the Stoic spirit is tempered. Cold sharpens endurance. Hunger breeds discipline. Rejection strengthens resolve. Solitude fosters self-reliance. The Stoic embraces discomfort, not out of masochism, but as a strategy for strength. For the one who can accept discomfort, nothing remains to fear. The Stoic is free where others are enslaved by their comforts. Seneca lived among wealth, but he refused to let wealth possess him. His deliberate practice of discomfort was his daily reminder: I do not need these things. I am strong without them. Comfort, while pleasurable, is not true strength. Comfort feels safe, but it prepares you for nothing. It smooths over life's challenges, but it weakens you, leaving you unprepared for the trials that life inevitably throws your way. Comfort might feel good until it costs you your resilience, and once that is gone, nothing external can fill the void. So heed this warning: comfort is not your ally, it is your greatest enemy. If you seek to live with strength and freedom, train yourself to face discomfort head-on. The world will test you, and only those with an iron mind, those who understand the old Stoic wisdom, will emerge victorious. Comfort will betray you when life demands something greater of you, but a mind honed through discipline will never break. Train for discomfort, and you will discover a power few others will ever know. The Stoic's path is not easy, but it is the path that leads to true mastery of life. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have, said Epictetus. He is right. Your limitations are not set by fate, but by your own choices. If you wish to be free, you must sever the excuses that keep you chained to comfort and weakness. Train your mind, embrace discomfort, and you will find that nothing in this world can ever break you. You will become invincible. Number 5. Your excuses are your chains. Epictetus, born into slavery, had a profound understanding of the psychology of limitation, perhaps better than anyone. His life was stripped of freedom, control, and basic rights. Yet, from this oppressive existence, he forged a truth so powerful it has echoed through history. It's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. This single statement dismantles every excuse you've ever clung to. Because here's the hard truth: if suffering is a product of your interpretation, then your pain isn't something that just happens to you. You are the one who sustains it. And that means it's your responsibility. The chains you carry are not imposed on you by others or life circumstances, they're shackled around you by your own mind. In ancient Rome, Epictetus had every right to throw in the towel, to point to his chains and declare, "This is why I can't do anything." He could have easily blamed his masters, his status, his complete lack of freedom. But he didn't. He refused. Instead, he declared, "I can because I govern my own will." He turned the very chains meant to break his spirit into a testimony of human resilience. The Stoic wisdom here is simple yet profound. No one can enslave your mind unless you let them. You decide whether to be a prisoner or a free man. Your mind is yours to govern, no matter the circumstances. So, while others may see chains, the Stoic sees only the opportunity to prove that no matter the chains, the human spirit is indestructible. In today's world, excuses are no longer tied to physical shackles, but they're just as limiting. They've adapted, dressed in modern-day disguises. The excuses sound reasonable. "I'm too tired. I wasn't given the chance. No one understands me." But here's the reality: the Stoic sees through this. Every excuse is a chain you forge for yourself. You repeat these excuses over and over, and like links in a chain, they grow heavier. The more you use them, the more they weigh you down. And before you know it, you are not imprisoned by external forces, but by the very words you speak. The person who says, "I can't," doesn't realize the grave mistake they're making. They're not just accepting a limitation, they're willingly surrendering their freedom. They're relinquishing their agency, step by step, until they have given away the one thing that matters most: the freedom to act. Consider someone who blames everything around them: the bad boss, the unfortunate timing, the luck that never seems to favor them. Their life remains stagnant, not because they are incapable, but because they've made a conscious choice to play the victim. They're victims of circumstance, of other people, and even of themselves. And once you wear the victim badge, you stop fighting to change your life. You wait for someone else to fix it. But the Stoic refuses to succumb to this mindset. Sure, he may be beaten down, misunderstood, and left out in the cold, but he never allows excuses to take root. He adapts. He endures. He builds. That's why a Stoic is unbreakable. No matter the challenges or setbacks, the Stoic knows that they are the master of their own life, and no external event can strip them of that power unless they allow it. Let's strip the veil away and be blunt. Your limitations are not imposed upon you. They are self-imposed. They remain as long as you allow excuses to live. Break those excuses, and the chains will fall off. Keep them, and you'll carry them for the rest of your life. No one else is holding you back, only you. Repeat this truth until it sinks in. My excuses are my chains. And if you want to break free, you must break the excuses. But here's the catch. Number 4, the next brutal rule is not soft. It will not coddle you. It demands that you stare yourself in the face with unforgiving honesty. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. If you find this valuable, like, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember, my excuses are my chains. Break free from self-imposed limitations and take control of your life. Let's do this together. Number 4, you are not special. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, the ruler of the greatest empire of his age, A man who commanded armies and had the power to shape history sat quietly in his private chambers, pen in hand. He wrote to himself, "Soon you will have forgotten all things, and all things will have forgotten you." Let that sink in. The man who held dominion over millions, his power unchallenged, reminded himself of his own impermanence. And why? Because ego clouds judgment. Ego distorts your view of the world. The moment you believe you're exceptional, that you're somehow above the rules, you're doomed to stop growing. You stop learning. You stop seeing things as they truly are. And that is when you start slipping into decline. Let me be blunt. You are not special. The Stoics didn't glorify uniqueness for its own sake. They didn't see it as something to be worshipped. They revered universality. You are one among billions. Your hunger, your fear, your pain, your joy, all of it is shared with the rest of humanity. You're not the only one who suffers or struggles. You're not the only one who's been knocked down by life. You're just another man who happens to be walking through it. That is the fundamental truth. Your problems are not cosmic punishments reserved only for you. They're the same problems every human has faced across centuries. When you begin to think otherwise, that your struggles are unique or worse than everyone else's, you're heading straight into entitlement, self-pity, and emotional fragility. Look around. The person who believes their pain is different, their obstacles more unfair, their suffering unmatched, is the person who ultimately makes themselves weak. And yet, in today's world, we are constantly fed this idea that we are somehow special, that we should be treated with kid gloves, that we deserve understanding no matter what. Here's the reality: that mindset makes you soft. It sedates you into complacency. Imagine someone who's been raised with the idea that they are somehow above criticism, beyond failure, and that the universe owes them comfort and success. Then reality strikes. They lose. They fail. They get rejected. And what happens? They collapse. They shatter because their worth was built on fragile illusions, not on something real, like resilience or discipline. Now, let's get serious. The Stoic way of thinking destroys that illusion. It strips you bare of entitlement and reminds you of something incredibly important. You are not owed success. You are not owed comfort. You are not owed praise. The world owes you nothing. What you owe to yourself is far more powerful. You owe yourself responsibility, effort, and humility. You owe yourself the discipline to take action, the courage to face adversity, and the clarity to accept the things you cannot change. That's where strength is built, not in feeling special. Repeat after me: I am not special. This is the truth that will set you free. Because once you let go of this notion of specialness, you realize that your pain isn't a curse, it's a part of being human. Your flaws aren't permanent marks on your character, they are challenges to be overcome, just like anyone else's. Your failures aren't a sentence, they're lessons. And guess what? Those same lessons have been faced by countless men before you. They've overcome them. You can too. To embrace this truth is to free yourself. Free from the weight of unrealistic expectations. Free from the crushing burden of thinking you're different or exceptional in a way that others aren't. You can rise without the weight of ego dragging you down. You can fall and then rise again because you're no longer trapped by the illusion that you are uniquely flawed. You see, the moment you realize that you are not special is the moment you finally step into your masculine energy with clarity. You take full responsibility for your life, and that's when you start living as a high-value man. You'll begin to attract women not because you believe you're above others, but because you are grounded in reality and discipline. You're focused, driven, and determined, not seeking validation from the world, but from your own actions. You must not confuse specialness with significance. The truly high-value man does not rely on the world to tell him how great he is. He knows his worth and earns his respect through his actions. He knows that in the grand scheme of things, he is but a small piece in a much larger puzzle, and he embraces that role fully. The Stoics got it right. To accept that you are not special is liberating. It frees you from the prison of ego. It allows you to focus on what really matters: responsibility, resilience, and effort. These are the qualities that create men who are admired, respected, and attractive to women. They radiate masculinity because they have cultivated it in the crucible of their own struggles. And guess what? That's exactly what makes them stand out, but in a real, lasting way. So, say it again. I am not special. Now, get to work. Let the next lesson push you even further. The path to becoming the high value man you want to be starts by embracing responsibility and shedding the burden of ego. And once you let go of the illusion of specialness, nothing will hold you back. You'll be stronger than ever. Remember, you're not above anyone, but you're more than capable of becoming the best version of yourself. You must. Number 3, kill what makes you weak. Kill what makes you weak. Seneca once wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that they are difficult." This is a harsh Stoic truth that rings louder today than ever before. The enemy isn't outside of you, it's within. And until you confront it head on, nothing will change. If you want real growth, you must destroy the parts of you that hold you back, the weaknesses that drag you down. In life, you don't get to choose all your challenges, but you do get to choose whether or not you carry the burden of weakness. The Stoics didn't shy away from this truth. They weren't concerned with feelings or making themselves comfortable. They were focused on getting stronger, purging whatever weakened them. That means confronting your pride, laziness, addiction, and self pity head on. These are not things to tolerate or make excuses for. They are enemies to be defeated. To carry them is to walk into the battle of life already defeated. Imagine someone who claims they want discipline but constantly gives in to distractions. They claim they want peace, yet feed their anxiety with every social media scroll, every excuse, and every indulgence. That person isn't failing because of the world. They're failing because they're too soft to cut out what weakens them. The modern world tells you to be kind to yourself, but the Stoic says, be honest with yourself. Brutally honest. And if you discover behaviors that make you soft, those habits and mindsets that cripple your progress, kill them. Not tomorrow. Not when it's convenient. Right now. This is the hard truth. Killing what makes you weak isn't about being cruel or harsh with yourself. It's about being decisive. It's about refusing to let your lower self dictate your actions and run your life. It's about sacrificing comfort in favor of strength, growth, and mastery. This isn't self-punishment. It's self-liberation. You must take a good, hard look in the mirror and say, this part of me is not serving who I want to become. And then act on it. If it weakens you, it has no place in you. Repeating this mantra, if it weakens me, it has no place in me, is a step toward an iron mind, forged in the crucible of self-discipline and relentless action. The wisdom of Stoicism isn't some distant philosophy. It's a practical guide for winning in the modern world. Forget the distractions and false comforts. Master your own mind, and you'll master your life. Because the Stoic rule is simple. To win in life, you must rid yourself of weakness. When you focus on the Stoic principles of personal responsibility, you begin to understand how to use Old Stoic wisdom to cultivate an iron mind. Think about it. Life isn't about avoiding the struggles. It's about becoming so strong that the struggles no longer matter. When you live with purpose and discipline, you no longer have to seek peace because peace becomes the natural byproduct of mastering your own mind. This isn't about seeking comfort. It's about achieving victory in your own life. You must purge all that is weak, indecisive, and reactive. Weakness isn't just an external thing. It's in the way you think, the habits you entertain, and the stories you tell yourself. You must become a warrior, says the Stoic, not only in the world, but in your own mind. This isn't some philosophical ideal. This is the Stoic way to win at life. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You need strength. The power to destroy weakness starts with the most difficult part, admitting where you're weak. Once you do, once you cut out what weakens you, the world changes. You're no longer controlled by your impulses or past habits. The Stoics understood this well. This battle against your own weaknesses is the real fight. Conquer it, and everything else falls into place. In this modern world full of distractions and excuses, don't be another person who fails to take responsibility for their own strength. Don't wait for the world to change. Change yourself. The Stoic warrior doesn't beg for comfort. He creates it through discipline. And in that discipline, peace is found not in the absence of challenges, but in your ability to conquer them. Number 2. Stop chasing peace outside yourself. Stop chasing peace outside of yourself. Too many men, especially those in the pursuit of success, wealth, or even love, make the mistake of thinking peace lies somewhere out there, beyond their reach, in a vacation home, a big promotion, or a new relationship. But Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled through wars and conspiracies, had a different view. In the midst of it all, he said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Think about it. A man who commanded legions, decided the fate of nations, and faced the bloodiest battles knew that the most important and fiercest battlefield wasn't the one drenched in violence, it was the one within his own mind. He realized that conquering yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your inner world, was far more significant than conquering the world around you. This is where Stoicism offers a radical truth. The more you chase peace outside of yourself, the further it slips away. Whether you think a new car, a bigger paycheck, or even a different city will bring you calm, think again. Those things rise and fall like the tides, dependent on luck, on fortune, on circumstances. If your peace relies on them, it's not real peace, it's borrowed peace. And borrowed peace is fragile. It can collapse at any moment when the storm of life comes crashing in. The Stoics knew this. Peace is not something you stumble upon in the world. It's something you must forge within yourself. Picture this: a person constantly running from chaos, avoiding people, closing apps, taking vacations, hopping from city to city, but never finding the stillness they seek. They keep thinking it's the world that's too loud, too chaotic, too overwhelming. But what they fail to see is that the storm they're trying to escape is inside them. They carry it wherever they go. That's the brutal truth you must face. No matter where you are, if you haven't learned to silence the noise within, the chaos will follow you. And that's where many men fail, chasing external solutions when the true problem lies within. The peace you're looking for cannot be bought or moved to. It's not something you'll find on a beach or in a quiet forest. It's something you must build from the inside out. And until you realize that every escape, every pursuit of external peace will only lead to deeper restlessness. This is why the Stoics insist that peace is not passive. It's not something you find, it's something you must actively build. And you build it by mastering your reactions, by refusing to let your impulses dictate your mood, and by quieting the endless noise inside your head that says, "I'll feel better when." The Stoic answer is different. Feel better now. Your soul is yours to govern, and you already possess the peace you seek. This is the core of Stoicism and of life itself. Peace is not an accident of circumstance. It's the result of discipline, attention, and, most importantly, sovereignty over your own mind. You cannot control the chaos around you. You can't stop betrayal, misfortune, or the cruelty of life. But you can control how those forces affect your inner world. You can choose whether to let them shape your mood, steal your day, or rule your life. And this is where real freedom begins, not in controlling the outside world, but in refusing to let the world control you. So repeat this mantra until it becomes part of your identity. I will not seek peace in places I cannot control. Etch it into your mind. Make it your armor against the outside world's chaos. And now, let's face the hardest truth. Peace is never going to be handed to you by the world. The world doesn't owe you peace. You must create it within yourself. This is the secret of all psychology tricks that offer real, lasting peace, whether in your own mind or even in understanding female psychology. How to fall in love with life itself is not in external pursuits, but in the internal mastery of your thoughts and reactions. The moment you accept this, you're free. You're not at the mercy of the world anymore. You're in charge. So stop searching for peace where you can't control it. Give it to yourself. Number 1. You are responsible for everything. Epictetus didn't beat around the bush. He said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. And why would he say that? Because he knew something most men avoid. Taking full responsibility can make you look insane in a world that's built on blame. The Stoics understood that the power to fix your life lies not in pointing fingers, but in taking ownership. It's a brutal rule because it demands that you, and only you, take charge of every aspect of your life. No one else is going to fix you, and frankly, no one should. This doesn't mean you're to blame for everything. It means you own the outcome of every situation. That bad childhood? Yes, it was hard, but it's your responsibility to heal from it. The toxic environment you find yourself in? It's still your responsibility to decide how you will respond to it. Life isn't fair, but fairness is irrelevant. The Stoic accepts it and moves forward. Why? Because the only thing that matters is action. You are a high value man, not because of your circumstances, but because you choose how you respond to them. The world will try to break you, your parents, your job, your partner, but the Stoic man rises. Not because it's easy, but because he chooses to face whatever comes his way. The moment you realize it's all your responsibility, your power is unleashed. Let's face it, this is the most brutal of all the rules. It eliminates every excuse, silences every complaint, and presents you with one stark choice: rise or remain stuck. Take a moment. Say this out loud: I am responsible for everything. That is my power. No one else can rebuild you because no one else is you. You are the master of your own fate. You want to attract women? Be a man who takes responsibility. You want to harness your masculine energy? Own your actions, your thoughts, your life. When you do that, others will respect you, not out of pity, but because they see your strength, your resilience, and your unshakable commitment to improvement. Taking responsibility might be uncomfortable, but that's the point. You can't grow without discomfort. Look at every failure as an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to strengthen your mind. Whether it's your job, your relationships, or your health, if you take ownership of it, you'll see the power shift back to you. You become the architect of your life. No more excuses. No more blaming the past or the system. Own it all. You're a high value man because you don't let life control you. Instead, you control it. Women are attracted to that confidence, that unapologetic self assurance. That's the kind of man who attracts women, not the one who blames others for his failures. Your masculine energy doesn't come from flexing or boasting. It comes from the quiet strength of knowing that no matter what happens, you are in control. The Stoic way teaches you to look within, take responsibility, and build a life that's not just about surviving but thriving. So, what will you do with this rule? Will you rise? Or will you remain the victim of your circumstances? The choice is yours. Thanks for sticking with me until the end. You're not just watching, you're transforming. What we've covered today is only the beginning. Now, here's your challenge. Pick one of these 8 Stoic rules and live by it for the next week. No shortcuts, no excuses. Just commit to it and make it happen. Share it in the comments. This week, I'm living by rule number underscore, 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 underscore. Don't keep it to yourself. Declare it to the world and, more importantly, to yourself. Now, which one of these rules hits hardest for you? The one that challenges you the most is probably the one you need right now. If you've made it this far, here's your final step. Comment, I choose strength. This isn't just a phrase. It's a decision to stop waiting, stop blaming, and stop wishing. It's about becoming the person the world can't break. This is Stoicism win. You didn't just watch a video, you made a decision. See you in the next one.